The other thing that came to my mind too is the outreach. Talk to us a little bit about the outreach, because that's where you really, like in the Matthew 28:19, where you say, make disciples of all nations, right?
Right. Go into all the world and make disciples.
Yeah.
Preach the gospel.
But then you emphasize the word do.
Yeah.
So you get them practice. You know what I mean? So it's like you had a basketball team, but you never practiced. You're not going to be any good.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to be too afraid. So you kind of have a guide, which would be the teacher, that goes out with them to do these different things. And it's kind of like, hey, okay, now go do this. Now go try this. Now go do this.
Right. So our goal is not to fill their heads or even their hearts with so much word that they are like, I already know that story. I don't want to go to church.
Mm-hmm.
We go to church almost every day when we go to school, that sort of thing. So the Lord revealed to us that we didn't want to create Dead Sea people, that we wanted to create children and young adults that were rivers of living water. And so if you pour in and pour in and pour in, and they don't have an outlet, then they will become Dead Sea. So our outreach is all about them actually doing what the word says. And you're right, do is my favorite word. Okay. In Matthew, when Jesus gives the Great Commission, he says, go into all the world and make disciples. And then he explains, what is a disciple? Well, a disciple is someone who does, and he said this, he said, teaching them to do everything that I've taught you.
Yeah.
So our outreach program, once a month, we put the academics in the morning, and we take half a day, and we go out, and we reach those that are in need. That's why it's called outreach. We're not in the four walls. We're outside reaching people who are in need. What kinds of ministries? Depending upon ages, some of our younger children, they go to nursing homes. They sing for them. They paint their nails. They play games with them. Others go to nursing homes where we have people with more serious issues, like dementia, those sorts of things. And they're actually ministering to them, talking to them. They understand more where they're at and what their needs might be. Of course, we're trying to get everybody saved that we can possibly get saved. We have other groups that go into some of the hospitals in the city, and they sing there. People are there in waiting rooms, and they're worried about their loved one who's upstairs in intensive care, and so they pray with them. They're a great light in the middle of that darkness. And then we've even had students go out to some of the public high schools and minister to those kids that are coming out for lunch. They're going out to lunch, and so we're on the sidewalks, and we're sharing the gospel, the good news with them. And so what does this do for them? Number one, it shows them that it's not just a bless me club. I'm blessed to be a blessing. I'm going to be a world changer, and I'm going to start changing the world that I live in right now.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's true. I've seen it firsthand where the kid, you would never think this kid would ever go talk to some random person.
Right.
And then they get the boldness, the Spirit fills them, and then they go minister. Because a couple times we went to the Mustard Seed Cafe where they feed the homeless and the needy. And we went there and just cleaned up, and then we also fed people, and then they would go and minister to the people in their seats and just ask them how they're doing and share the gospel with them. And sometimes it doesn't necessarily have to be like, it reminds me of when Jesus was separating the sheep from the goats, right? And he's like, depart from me, you evil workers of iniquity, for I never knew you. Because when I was hungry, you didn't feed me. When I was naked, you didn't clothe me. When I was in prison, you didn't come visit me. He goes through all the different things. And I think, honestly, I hadn't thought about it until right now. Each one of the little things, we're kind of doing those things. Right. We're giving them the option to go and be God's hands and feet. That when you're saved, you have to disciple other people, and you have to be discipled. It's not just the pastors. No. It's every believer.
That's our job. The Great Commission was for everyone, not just for pastors. He said, all of you go and make disciples. Go and preach the gospel. And so even young babies, we have 3 and 4 year olds in our school, and even they have outreach. Now, they may not be taken somewhere outside of the school, but they are ministering by bringing in school supplies for an orphanage, by bringing in socks in the winter or blankets. And when we've had national or state disasters, our whole school gets behind an outreach to send school supplies, blankets, whatever they're in need of. We go and we do that. For a long time, we sent lunches over to Juarez to feed children who live off of the scraps out of the dump over there. In the United States, most people have food to eat, but there are places when that is not the case. And so it really opens the eyes of our children to know that there's a world out there that needs us, and that they are being given this great education and training and discipleship so that they can make that difference in the world.